Throughout history, we, as humans, have used the power of our minds to achieve incredible and amazing feats. In reality, our minds are simply tools we use to create our thoughts. And the quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our experiences. A simple shift in perception will quickly and easily improve how you feel and what you believe is possible, helping you to achieve all of your personal goals, even those that previously seemed unattainable. Join us now as we explore the vast landscapes of our minds. This is Mind Over Matter.
Hello, I'm Brandolyn Jokiel.
Hi, I'm Mitch Friedman.
And this is Mind Over Matter, where we teach you how to use the power of your mind to feel better, overcome obstacles, and get more of what you want. I'm talking fast tonight, Mitch. I'm like, la 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 la. Just downloading, but that's probably a good thing because we're going to be talking a lot tonight.
That's right. You know, a lot of times during the week, over these last few months, we've gotten all these emails from people asking us questions about who are you, what do you do, what are your thoughts, you know, what are some of your ideas. So we decided,
instead of writing all those emails separately to answer all of that, which are great questions, make me think. We decided that we're going to interview each other for the show tonight and talk about what inspires us, who we are, what our personal philosophies are. All those really good questions. So I'm going to start with you, Mitchell.
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in the Bronx in New York.
Oh, cool.
And
You're
yeah,
a Bronx
it is cool.
boy.
I am a Bronx boy. And, you know, I love saying that. I don't know why, but I just love saying that. I love being from New York. I'm thrilled that I don't live there anymore. And then we moved out to Long Island. And lived right behind the Bethpage State Park, which some people may be familiar with, because I think it was last year they did this big golf tournament at the Bethpage State Park. So in the good old days, that was actually my backyard, and it was a big farm. I know when people think about New York, they always assume that it's big city and big buildings. But no, I grew up in the country, out in Long Island, New York. And yeah, it was really fun. I had a good time. I have a twin brother and two older sisters. My brother's name is Randy, and my two older sisters are Linda and Eileen.
Cool. Very cool.
And Mom and Dad are Millie and Arnie.
Yes. I didn't know Arnie. I knew Millie, because I've heard you say Millie and Arnie. That's so cute. They should be like a little cartoon strip. Millie and Arnie.
Aren't those two great names? Millie and Arnie. What about you, Brandy? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Mexico. I grew up in a town called Tularosa, which is about 3 hours south of Albuquerque. It's best known probably for Billy the Kid, and it's near White Sands, and a lot of what happened in the Billy the Kid times occurred around in that area. I think in Young Guns, they say something about Tularosa in there that's really funny. So really tiny town. It's only 3,000 people, no stoplights. I think they finally have a subway, but when I was growing up, there's no like fast food places, no movie theaters, anything like that.
Lucky you.
It was very, I had a very blessed childhood. My grandparents are cotton farmers out there, and then they moved to Deming. And I just really kind of had a country life, just a really free life. My dad he's a cabinet maker, and he had his business right on our same property in a different building, so he was around a lot. My mom worked outside of the home. And I just think of my childhood as basically like freedom, just running around in the desert, on the dirt roads.
Excellent.
It's warm down there. I was kind of like the girl version of Tom Sawyer a little bit. And I loved my childhood, and I loved growing up in a little town, but I'm definitely not small town girl kind of thing. Like maybe when I'm 80, I might move back to like a small town like that.
Now the big city, it's Albuquerque.
It's the big city of Albuquerque. I really love to travel, and I like the excitement and the convenience of big city life, so to speak. So what's the most crazy or wonderful place you've ever traveled, Mitch?
You know, I think the craziest place, I used to go down to Guatemala a lot and Belize and that area. And I spent a lot of time in this little town called Pitan. It's a little town up by Tikal where the pyramids are, these beautiful pyramids. I've spent a lot of time there and had some amazing experiences. What about you? What's one of the most fun and exciting places you've visited?
Well, I was trying to think of that after I'd asked you that question, because I haven't done as much traveling as I would like to, and most of my travel has been in the U.S. and Mexico and through the Caribbean. I think that the place that I'd like to travel most, however, is this picture that's come up in my mind in the last week and a half, and I'm almost obsessed with it. And it's just a snapshot, but it exemplifies where I want to go in my life. And in this snapshot, I'm kneeling down with a farmer in India. And he's showing me his crops, and he's smiling, and we're having some sort of a conversation where we're not speaking the same language, but we're communicating with each other. And I'm just really impressed by his farmland, his very simple farmland, and he's really happy to be sharing it with someone. So that's kind of my dream. My heart just longs to be out in the world, into some places. I dream of going to Europe and seeing all of the beautiful architecture and history and all of those things, but there's some really deep part of me that wants to go to some more remote places on the planet. I'd love to travel through India. I'd love to travel through Africa and New Zealand.
Africa.
And I'd like to go to Malaysia. I want to meet some people. I want to meet some people like you were talking about that you knew in Guatemala. I want to spend some time with them, kind of get immersed a little bit in their culture.
We've talked about New Zealand and Australia. Both of those places. We were invited once to do a medical class, a medical hypnosis class in New Zealand and Australia, and we still may do it.
Yes.
So yeah, those are two places I'd really like to go to. One of the cool things about, I know a lot of people travel and it's all the touristy things, and they do all those,
Right.
Especially with a family.
Right, and I
imagine.
love those things. I'm the first person to jump on a tour bus, and my husband and kids are like, oh, God. And I'm like, they're going to tell us stuff, and we're going to ride around.
Exactly.
And I got the Bermuda shorts and the camera, and I'm all there. I totally love the touristy stuff, but...
Yeah, see, I'm just the opposite. I go to some place like in Guatemala, kind of like dive right into their experience, and it's easier for me to sort of get to know people in the area a little bit. And you know me, I mean, I'm such a hermit.
He is very much a hermit. I know you guys see him as this big socialite. When he's out. But getting him out, I know. Getting him out is something else.
Once I'm out of the house,
Yes.
I have a really good time. And I have a really good time in the house. But boy, once I'm in the house, it's really hard to get me out. I live out in the country, and I have 4 dogs and 4 cats, and it's just so beautiful out there. And we have some property, and I could just hang out there all day. So.
What's your favorite book, or a book that's really inspired you or really touched you in some way?
Well, that's so easy for me, Brandy, because there's definitely a book that changed my life. It was called Siddhartha, and it was just laying around my house. I've always made up the story that since my sister was already in college, that maybe my other sister was in high school, maybe it was one of their books that they were reading for school. It was written by Hermann Hesse. Amazing author. I've read every one of his books, but this book, Siddhartha, it's a short little book, and it's about this journey, this Buddhist on this journey. And at the time, I didn't really even know what a Buddhist was. Mm-hmm. But I read the book 17 times in a row. Siddhartha, it was about his journey and his life, and oh my God, it just touched me to such a deep, 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 deep level that it just inspired me. What about you?
My favorite book is definitely not as deep on that level, but it is deep. Now, in picking a favorite book for me, that's a real challenge because I read a lot and I have favorite authors and I read fiction and nonfiction. But I think a real turning point in my life is I was dating a guy and he said, you need to read The Tao of Pooh. And I said, the what? He said, The Tao of Pooh. And I said, okay, why do I need to read this? And he said, you need to read the Taoist philosophy because I think you're really going to dig it. And it's the Taoist philosophy as told by Winnie the Pooh. And I thought, well, I can do this. And it was just really beautiful the way it takes these ancient philosophies. It's not a religion, it's a philosophy. And puts them in very simple Western language to understand. And it was the first time that I saw that the way that I had thought about life since I was little, other people actually did too. I grew up, again, pretty in a pretty closed environment, and I always felt a little bit special, meaning like a freak.